Remember those endless summer drives across Minnesota's winding backroads? The kind where the radio crackled with old country tunes, and every flickering neon sign promised a quick break, a cold pop, or a tall tale from the attendant. Those gas stations weren't just pits for fuel. They were pit stops for memories, where families stretched their legs and legends were born over shared snacks. Today we're looking at 10 abandoned Minnesota gas stations that fueled road trip legends, those quiet ghosts of the highway that whisper stories of simpler times. 1. Arco's rock-covered wonder. Picture a dusty farm town in the far southwest corner of Minnesota, where a hard-working farmer named H.B. Peterson turned his fields into art. Back in 1936, he bought this old Texaco station and covered it head to toe in thousands of rocks he'd hauled from his land, crafting sculptures of animals and faces that caught every traveler's eye. What made it special was that quirky roadside magic. Folks on Highway 75 would pull over just to snap photos, trading stories about the rock man who built it all by hand. It became a beacon for weary drivers, a place where you fuel up and feel like you'd stumbled into a fairy tale. But as highways widened and big chains rolled in during the 70s, the pumps went dry, and Pedersen's creation faded into quiet abandonment, leaving only echoes of admiration in old travel diaries. 2. St. Peter's Pearl Palace. Nestled along the Minnesota River in St. Peter, this 1930 gem started as a Pearl station, one of those early independents that dotted the prairies with promise. Built with clean lines and a welcoming canopy, it was a hub for college kids from Gustavus Adolphus and families heading north, where the owner chatted up every customer like an old friend. Its special charm? That sense of small-town heart, with shelves stocked for impromptu picnics and a mechanic who could fix anything under the sun. Road trippers still whisper about the potlucks held in the back lot during harvest fairs. Come the late 80s, though, corporate buyouts squeeze out the little guys, and it closed its doors, now standing empty as a national register treasure, tugging at our hearts with what once was. 3. Minneapolis' hidden Conoco hideout. In the bustling heart of the Twin Cities, off a forgotten stretch of Portland Avenue, this 1940 Conoco station rose like a sturdy sentinel during the war years, pumping fuel for victory drives and family getaways. What set it apart was its classic streamlined design, curved walls and gleaming porcelain signs that glowed like a beacon after dark, drawing in night owls with tales of jazz clubs and lake-bound adventures. Travelers swapped stories over coffee in the attached diner, turning pit stops into lifelong bonds. But by the 90s, urban sprawl and self-serve pumps changed the game, leaving it vacant and boarded up, a silent reminder when filling up meant more than just gas. 4. Red Wing's Riverside Relic. Down by the Mississippi in charming Red Wing, this Conoco outpost from 1940 started as a simple riverside stop, expanded in the 50s to handle the boom of post-war road trips. Folks loved it for the view, pull in for gas, and you watch barges glide by while grabbing leather boots from nearby shops, the kind of spot that felt like a vacation in itself. Legends grew from the fishermen who lingered, spinning yarns about record catches over counter. Its warmth came from that unhurried pace, a pause in the rush. Yet as environmental rules tightened in the 2000s, the old tanks got yanked and the pumps fell silent, abandoning it to the winds off the river, where memories linger like morning mist. 5. Pine City's dusty DX Dream. Tucked away in Pine City up near the St. Croix River, this 1932 DX station was a Depression-era survivor, later switching to pure oil and serving as the gateway to lake country escapes. What made it legendary? Those faded ads for motor oil and the creaky screen door that welcomed generations of canoe trippers with a nod and a joke. It was a place where dads taught kids to check tire pressure, forging bonds over root beer floats on hot July days. Stories abound of storm chasers holding up there during wild Minnesota squalls. But by the early 60s, the highway realignments bypassed it, and it's sat empty ever since, a weathered shell holding the scent of pine and possibility. 6. Mountain Lake's Silent Phillips 66. In the quiet farmlands of Mountain Lake, this late 1930s Phillips 66 station popped up like a friendly flagpole, fueling Dutch immigrant families and cross-state wanderers alike. Its magic lay in community vibe. Locals gathered for Friday night card games in the back, while road trippers marveled at the tulip fields blooming nearby, turning refuels into flower-filled reveries. It was special for those simple acts of kindness, like the owner slipping kids extra candy for the long haul ahead. Whispers of harvest moon dances still echo in town lore. As mega stations muscled in during the 80s, though, it couldn't compete, closing quietly and now standing vacant, a poignant nod to rural rhythms lost. 7. Wallen's Whispering Ernie's. Deep in the Root River Valley near Lanesboro, Ernie's station dates back to 1917, one of Minnesota's earliest, a humble wooden shack that grew into a vital link for bluff country explorers. Travelers adored its rustic soul, the potbelly stove for warming hands on chilly mornings and the shelf of handmade maps to hidden fishing holes that sparked endless adventures. It fueled legends of apple orchard runs and theater-bound jaunts to the Gutshot, where every fill-up came a hearty laugh. That personal touch made it irreplaceable. But the rise of interstates in the 50s rerouted the traffic, leaving it abandoned until a recent restoration breathed life into its bones. Yet the original spirit remains a faded photograph. 8. Shoreview's tiny time capsule. Up in the northern suburbs of the Twin Cities, the Guerin family gas station from the late 1910s, or early 20s, holds the title of one of Minnesota's oldest and smallest, a pint-sized powerhouse on a quiet corner. What captured hearts? Its cozy scale, perfect for neighborhood chats and quick top-offs before heading to the lakes, where families built sandcastles and swapped supper recipes with the Guerins themselves. Road trip tales flourished here, from ice fishing halls to county fair triumphs shared over the counter. It felt like pulling into Grandma's driveway. As cars got thirstier and regulations stricter in the 70s, it shuddered, now a cherished relic that tugs our nostalgia like a well-worn family album. 9. Super America's Pandemic Phantom. Just off a Twin Cities highway, the Super America station hummed through the 80s and 90s, a bright-lit oasis for rush-hour escapes and weekend warriors stocking up on Slurpees and maps. Its legend? Those marathon video rentals in the attached store and the all-night glow that promised safety on stormy drives, where strangers became friends over delayed flights worth of coffee. It was a heartbeat of hurried lives, full of little joys like fresh donuts at dawn. Then the pandemic hit in 2020, slamming brakes on everything, and it closed for good, leaving pumps power but empty, a haunting shell that reminds us how fragile our routines can be. 10. Iron Range's Gateway Ghost. Way up on the rugged Iron Range, this old gateway station from the 1930s marked a gateway to mining country, a weather welcome for ore haulers and summer campers alike. Special for its frontier feel, with shells of bait and beans that fueled epic Boundary Waters treks, it was where prospectors traded ghost stories of lost veins under the northern lights. That raw, untamed camaraderie made every stop an adventure start. As the mine slowed in the 70s and supper clubs took over the building, the gas side faded away, abandoned to the winds, carrying whispers of hard-won fortunes long gone. There you have it, folks. 10 faded fuel stops that turned ordinary drives into something magical. Which one sparks a memory for you? Or have you got your own road trip tale from the old days? Drop it in the comments below. Give this a like if it took you back. And hit subscribe so we can keep unwinding these nostalgic threads together. Until next time, safe travels down memory lane.